everyone, my name is Gary, I like games, and welcome back to my channel. It's pickups day. I'm not worrying about the dates or anything anymore. I know the first pickups video I did, I was like, oh, this is this date to this date. This is just recent pickups now. I've recorded this video 3 times with 3 different cameras, this being the third, and this is the one that I've been using to record everything with. And I tried using my phone, and it had like a yellowy tint on the wall. And then I tried using my wife's camera, which she got from her dad, and that definitely seems like it's more of a still photo, a photo-taking camera than it is really a recording camera. Because this cheapo $50 Amazon camera is giving me the best results out of any of my cameras. And it has this little screen, you can't see it, but there's a screen right here that shows me on screen, so I don't have to keep running back and forth. But that's enough about that. Let's talk about some games. So I went on vacation in early June, so I tried not to spend a whole lot of money before we went on vacation, so I would have money while we were on vacation. And one of the things I got, I just want to show off real quick because he's adorable. A stuffed Poe from Kung Fu Panda. I love Kung Fu Panda. The store that we went to was DreamWorks themed, and they didn't have Megamind, which I would have preferred Megamind, but I love Kung Fu Panda so much, and I was so excited to get a stuffed Poe. But anyway, before I went on vacation, I was at Walmart, and I saw a deal on some games that I just could not pass up. So we have Super Mario Maker 3DS here. We have New Super Mario Bros. 2, and Mario Kart 7. All of these, and you can see with this one, all of these were $10. That's a pretty good price for just about any Mario game. With New Super Mario Bros. 2, I know I saw a lot of reviews that said like it was fine, it was another Mario platformer, but this was right around the time where we were just getting Mario platformer after Mario platformer, and this one didn't really do a whole lot to be unique. The whole gimmick with this one is that, I'll show you on the back here, you can see on the front too, you're collecting coins, like even more so. There's a counter on the title screen that shows you, hey, you've collected this many coins, we want you to reach 1 million, and that's kind of the whole gimmick. It's still a Mario platformer, it's still pretty good. I've played it a little bit, and I've had fun with it. As far as Mario Kart 7 goes, I'm not in a huge hurry to play this one. It hasn't been opened, as you can see. I have Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. I have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch. This one is kind of just a lesser version of those, as far as I know. I don't know, if there is some reason for me to get into this one right away, let me know in the comments. But I think 8 and 8 Deluxe do everything that this one tries to do much better. And then as far as Mario Maker 3DS, my oldest son is obsessed with Mario Maker 2 on Switch. And he's been asking me, Dad, why don't they put the Mario Maker 1 on Switch? And I have to explain, like, buddy, they're probably not going to because Mario Maker 2 is doing fine. There's not a huge reason to put Mario Maker 1. Even though Mario Maker 1 and Mario Maker 3DS have some features that the Switch version does not, especially the amiibo support. This is mostly his. I showed him those 3 games and told him, hey, you pick one as kind of a reward for making it through another school year, because these kids have had it so rough these past couple years with the schooling and all that. And so he picked Mario Maker 3DS. Moving right along, I did also pick up one other DS related game, and that's You Don't Know Jack, the Irreverent Trivia Party Game. I know very little about these games. In fact, I was just at a game store and I thought that these were like a more recent kind of game, but apparently there was one of these on the PS1.
I had no idea.
So I like trivia games. I'm excited to dive into this. I haven't yet because I have a bad habit of buying games and then never playing them. But yeah, I'm excited to try out You Don't Know Jack. So next up, we went to my local thrift store, and they had something, and I ignored it for a couple trips there, but it was still there after like 3 or 4 weeks of it being there, and I decided I wanted to take it home. Family Guy DVD Blast. I'm not the biggest Family Guy fan. If I was to call myself a fan, it would definitely be of the earlier Family Guy series. I think it's kind of neat. You know, it's one of those DVD games. You can see in here, I'm just going to pull this out instead of... It's got the little card in it to keep score, which I was surprised by because this was at a thrift store. And it's got a marker and a disc in there. This covers, oops, I'm going to carefully close this while I talk, so if I'm not looking at the camera, that's why. Looking towards the camera. This trivia game covers seasons 1 through 4. Those are the seasons I enjoy, some of the earlier seasons, and my wife and I have said we're going to play this sometime. We just haven't gotten around to it. Happens when you have kids. Next up, some original Xbox games. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos, or if you don't follow me on Twitter, which you should, I'll put it somewhere around here, somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I enjoy collecting for the original Xbox. I think it's a weird system. I think it's a system that doesn't get enough recognition. Because it's such a weird system, I think that's why I like it. You know, everybody wants to collect for the GameCube or the PS2, and nobody really talks about the original Xbox. So, first we have Azuric Rise of Parathia, Young Guardian, the Ultimate Weapon, an Epic Journey. So, Azuric, these are all complete in box, at least the original Xbox games are. It is like an action game. From what I've played so far, it kind of reminds me of Jak and Daxter. The whole thing is this Guardian stone shield emblem thing gets broken by the totally not obvious bad guy who's a rival of you, and it pulls like a Metroidvania kind of thing where it has you have a bunch of powers in a tutorial and then rips them all away, and you have to go recollect those powers throughout the game by collecting orbs. So far, I'm not super impressed with this, but you know, it has time to change my mind. It seems very awkward and clunky, which, I mean, is in a nutshell is the original Xbox, but I'm going to put this a little closer so you can see it. Azuric Rise of the Parathia, or whatever I said. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. It's neat enough. It's kind of cute. I hope it gets better, but we'll just have to see. Next up, I grabbed Mike Tyson's Heavyweight Boxing. This surprised me, not because it's good or anything. From what I played, it's awful. Just so awful. What surprised me about this is I didn't realize that Mike Tyson had a game since Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! I have played this enough to make sure the disc works, and this is going to be a video one day, because this is rough. Wow. I'm not a big boxing fan or sports fan in general, but every once in a while I like to pick up some kind of sportsy game and try them out. And I knew this one was going to be bad. I read reviews of it before I picked it up, but I was just so enticed of the idea that somebody else gave Mike Tyson a game. And granted, this was, probably at least 10 years after his big controversy. Maybe longer, maybe a little less. But still, I didn't think he had made his comeback until, The Hangover? Is that what he was in? Regardless, Mike Tyson's Heavyweight Boxing, it's something, for sure. So for this next game, have you ever had a game that you'd see at a rental store or a GameStop as a kid, and you'd end up picking a different game and not grabbing that game or renting that game or whatever, but that game always caught your eye, and you're like, one day, I'm gonna play you. One day you will be mine. Well, for me, one of those games is definitely Psi-ops, the Mind Gate Conspiracy. This is, so far, a really fun game. If you haven't played it, it plays a lot like Battlefront 2, the pre-EA Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Or Mercenaries, but you have psychic powers alongside your guns. It's that very run and gun, very loose kind of combat. Oh, it also reminds me of Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I wouldn't be surprised if this game inspired some of the mechanics in Force Unleashed. It's that kind of an action game, except instead of having a lightsaber, you have a gun. And you use the mind powers instead of the force. So I know that I'm going to love this game when I actually get around to playing it. But until then, let's just move right along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13! 13 is a, comic book style. The comic book style is what really stands out in this game. It's got this really nice comic book aesthetic, especially for the Xbox era, that generation of games. This game looks really nice. It's based on let's see if it says on the back here. It's based on a Polish comic. It's based on some comic. You play as number 13. He's like an agent. I'm probably going to butcher the description of this game because I played it like 3 weeks ago and I don't remember much about it. But you play as number 13 and you are being hunted by the other 12 numbers, I think. It's a first-person shooter. Again, the comic book style is what really stands out with this. The gameplay's fine. It's about your standard shooter for this time. But so far, I've really enjoyed this. It's very stylized, and that's right up my alley. So I enjoy playing this and discovering what it's all about in the future. The final original Xbox game, and one that I'm really excited to be able to actually talk about, is Jade Empire Limited Edition. So I picked this up at a game store while I was on vacation. That's also where 13 and Psi-ops came from. Here, I'll show you the manual and disc while I talk. This is the second disc. This is like the bonus content disc. Oh, do I need to put that in before I play more? I'll have to look into that. Anyway, Jade Empire. This is the game that BioWare worked on in between Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and Dragon Age. This was a passion project of theirs, apparently. From what I read, this was like we want to make this because we want to make this, not because, you know, this is a Star Wars game. This is their own IP that they wanted to do. Looks like it was published by Microsoft. I believe this is an Xbox exclusive. Oh, this game is so good. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I recorded this video 2 times before with 2 different cameras. This is probably over the course of like 2 weeks. I'd record one, I would say, oh, I don't like that. Try the other camera, say, oh, I don't like that. And then I settle back on this camera today. Well, in those 2 prior videos, I didn't have a whole lot to say about Jade Empire. I hadn't played more than like 20 minutes of it, just to make sure the disc worked and all that good stuff. Well, I changed that last night. And I played some more Jade Empire, and I love this so much, so much. So it has all the nice dialogue options of KOTOR, and it's got the great voice acting and all that good stuff so far. Except, instead of having turn-based combat, like in Knights of the Old Republic, you have like a more free-form, action-y type combat. Think like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. Your Batman Arkham Asylum. It's much more like that. Actually, to compare this to something that BioWare has done, it's very much more like Dragon Age than it is Knights of the Republic. It's got that great BioWare writing so far. I'm still only probably about an hour and a half in. For those of you that have played it, I've gotten my weapon. I beat the first boss. I'm doing some of the side stuff now before I just beat the jerky rival guy. That's what happened. I just beat him in the story. If you've played this, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's still right at the beginning. This surprised me a lot because when I saw that it was this very action-y game, but also like freer action-y game than like Star Wars Knights of the Republic, I wasn't sure how much I'd like this. But yeah, I love it. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, so let's just move on to another game because I want to get back to playing more Jade Empire. Next up, we've got the Xbox 360 games. We've got DJ Hero. I don't have the DJ board yet. It's something I'm going to kind of keep an eye out for. I don't want to spend an arm and a leg on it. But I've had the urge to play a musical game here lately. You know, something from Guitar Hero or Rock Band. And I thought DJ Hero would be really neat to play. It was one that I kind of always wanted to try when it came out. I got this because GameStop had a sale on their website. This was $1. This has got some neat songs on it. It's got Gorillaz, Feel Good Inc., Rihanna, where's she at? It's got Beastie Boys, The Killers, Daft Punk, Queen, Eminem, Foo Fighters. A lot of songs that are right up my alley. I'm really excited to try DJ Hero once I get the turntable. I don't remember what those are called, but I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. Let's move right along. Every once in a while, I enjoy myself a military shooter. I'm not a die-hard Call of Duty fan or a Battlefield fan or anything like that. But every once in a while, these are kind of fun to pick up and play. So this is also, I think this was $1 at GameStop. I got Battlefield 4. This, of course, because it was GameStop, something had to go wrong. The disc holder thing here at the bottom is busted. Eventually, I'm going to get more of these like loose plastic cases, and I'll put some of my games in those that have these busted up cases. This has got 2 discs, and let me just say I'm pretty disappointed with this so far. I will put in the campaign disc, and then it'll ask me for the multiplayer disc, so then I'll put in the multiplayer disc, And then once the campaign disc again, I just want to play a military shooter for, 20-30 minutes at a time. Not something that I want to dedicate a whole day to, swapping discs back and forth. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's a me problem, but yeah, this kind of irritated me. This next one I picked up at a local thrift store, and then I think everything after this was at GameStop. That's at least a game, anyway. Skylanders Imaginators. I don't have any Skylanders yet, but I did just go to a local game store, and they have them. They have tons of Skylanders. I want to start kind of every once in a while picking up a Skylander here and there. So, now that I know a decent place to go get them for a decent price, they had them for like $4 a piece, I think. I'm excited to look into playing some of these games because I kind of missed out on the whole Skylanders Disney Infinity craze. These last 4 games were for GameStop, and ordering some games on GameStop sometimes has its downsides, like getting them in these ugly little, GameStop Xbox cases. I wasn't super thrilled when I saw that these were what they came in, but what can you do? So anyway, this is a Valkyria Revolution Vanargand. I do not know the first thing about the Valkyria Revolution series. I think my friend actually gifted me one of the Valkyria games, probably like 6 or 7 years ago. I haven't played it yet. I'm sorry. I will eventually. Maybe. But anyway, what was kind of neat about this is not only does it have this game disc right here, you can't really see it over my hand, but I'm not going to flip my hand, but it also had the soundtrack disc, and that kind of surprised me. So that's still kind of neat, even though it's got this ugly case. And the problems with GameStop just keep coming, because Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, again in this case, looks all nice and stuff. It's the Xbox One, Xbox 360 advertised version of it. The problem is the disc doesn't work, and I'm going to contact GameStop probably today, because I'm probably getting pretty close to my time limit on this, to see if I can get it to work. Because right now I'm really bummed. I really wanted to try Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I've heard it's a fantastic game and a great RPG, and the 40 minutes that I played before the disc read error came up, I really enjoyed it. Seemed right up my alley. But, yeah, if the disc doesn't work, I can't play it. So let's move on to the next game, Pass Cure. This is developed by Phantom. So far, I don't know a whole lot about it. I think the disc is actually in my Xbox One downstairs. So right now, you can't see the disc, but I do have this game. It's like a first-person shooter puzzle type of game. I'm not super into it yet. I've only played maybe a half hour's worth, so there's plenty of time for it to impress me. So what you do in this is you fight these terracotta warriors. What'll happen is you'll go into a room, and there'll be 3 doors that appear. One will appear, then one will appear out of one of the 3 or 4 doors that appear, or 2 will appear, and 3 will appear. You have to shoot them before they reach you. If they reach you, you die. So it's more like being perceptive about what's around you and making sure you shoot them fast enough. Because, again, if they touch you, you're done. You have to restart from the last checkpoint. I hope this gets better. It's a supernatural thriller, action versus stealth and psychic abilities. Again, I haven't really given this one a fair shake yet, so I don't want to dog on it too much, and especially if it's from an indie studio, and I got a bunch of accolades. Best Indie Game of 2017, Public's Choice, so it must be pretty decent, right? I just probably haven't played enough of it to say whether or not it's good or not. So let's just move on. The final game of this video, sort of, is Kung Fu Panda 2 for the Xbox 360's Kinect. In addition to being a big old softie for the original Xbox, I've kind of grown soft towards the Kinect. Yeah, it's janky. It's super clunky. It barely works. When something actually does work, it just feels so good. Kung Fu Panda 2, I played enough of this to know what it's about. Essentially, and this is actually in my 360 right now, that's why you don't see the disc there. So this takes place right after the events of the second movie, Kung Fu Panda 2, and you're cleaning up the remnants of the villain from the movie's army. It's about what you expect. You have punches and kicks and all kinds of different moves you can do. They're not very good. I'm not going to try and sell you on Kung Fu Panda 2 for the Kinect. Funny enough, this is the most expensive game that I bought from GameStop. The rest were either $1, I think past cure was like $6, and this one was $10. I do plan on playing more of this. This may be a video one day. It's very clunky. It's about what you'd expect. But let's move on to some other stuff, because I didn't just buy games this time around. Well, I guess I do still have kind of one more game related thing. This is a Pac-Man micro arcade player. And what it does, I got this on vacation. I thought it was adorable and I wanted it. It plays Pac-Man on this tiny little thing. See, look, I'm holding it in front of the camera so I can't really see what I'm doing. But yeah, that's Pac-Man all right. It's got a nice LCD screen. It is really tiny, but I don't have a problem seeing it. So I guess it works well enough for me. I'll be back. Okay, now that I've played some Pac-Man and put it on my shelf, let's look at some other stuff. I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. I've been a Dragon Ball fan since I first saw the series ages ago, and these were in the clearance bin at like an FYE, I think. There's Zeno and Jiren and Beerus. They're freaking adorable, and I love them, and they are also going on my shelf. So the last plush item I want to show off, I went to a Pokemon store, a legitimate Pokemon store that's actually fairly nearby where I live. They did not have my favorite Pokemon in plush. They do carry it. It's Breloom, I should mention. They do carry Breloom in plush form, in a sitting plush form, but they didn't have any because apparently Breloom's a lot more popular than I thought it was. I thought I was somebody who was weird for having Breloom as my favorite Pokemon, but I ended up finding another Pokemon that I was happy to take home. Dracovish. Look at him! He's adorable and an abomination on this earth. Oh, I love Dracovish. I dabble in competitive Pokemon. I don't play it a whole lot, but a buddy of mine, every once in a while, he'll message me and be like, hey, I've got this super gimmicky team that I want to try out, and the randoms just aren't cutting it. I'm cleaning up against them. I need somebody else to play against. And I'm by no means am I very, very good at the Pokemon competitive scene, but I like to think of all games that I played ever competitively, I'm probably the best at Pokemon. So usually I'll say, yeah, I'll throw together a team and we'll battle it out for a couple days, and then we'll stop, and 4 months later he'll message me again. But anyway, Dracovish is a monster in the competitive scene, and I fell in love with him. He is amazing. That's enough about Dracovish, though. Let's move on to other stuff. So the last bits of stuff I picked up were manga and books. I've wanted to read manga more here lately, so I picked up some while I was on vacation, and that just kind of opened the floodgates, and now we're going to the bookstore every 2 weeks looking to see if there's new manga in or anything like that. One of the first mangas I picked up was Death Note Black Edition. This has got volumes 1 and 2 in it. It's got these really nice color pages on the front. You can, there you go, you can see them there. I read through this pretty quickly, and I was gonna go get more of the Black Edition, but these are like $15 to $20 a piece, especially depending on where you order them. And I can't guarantee that the Barnes & Nobles near me have them in stock, like Black Edition 2 or 3 or whatever. But I found something online that was a much more sensible purchase for me, and that is the Death Note All-in-One Edition. It came in this neat little like card for it. It normally goes for $50 according to this. Walmart had it on sale online for like $30. I think it was Walmart I got it through. And my only complaint, well, no, that's a lie. I have a lot of complaints, but the first thing I have a complaint about is, I don't know if you can see it on camera. This came and it was kind of busted up when it arrived, and I was kind of bummed about that. But honestly, I don't care all that much about the guard, so I'm not super worried about it. This was like $30. As you can see here, I'm almost done with it. This is where I left off. So this is kind of neat. It's the entire series, all 12 volumes in one book. The problem with this is, one, it's heavy. This is a hefty book. The other problem is I guess it's really just the heftiness. The other problem is it's kind of unwieldy. It feels really awkward when it's open like this, You got half of its weight on this side, half of its weight on this side. And like if you're like me, I like to like lay down in bed and read. And this laying on my chest just didn't feel very good. Kind of dug into me a little bit. But for $30, the entire Death Note manga, I would say it's worth it. Here, look at that on the front. That is slick. It's got that cross with Ryuk on it. Oh, so good. But that wasn't all the manga I got. Recently, when I went out and got the Azuric and Mike Tyson and the stuff at the Pokemon store, we also stopped at a Barnes & Noble and I picked up Pokemon Adventures Collector's Edition 1. From what I've heard about this manga, things get brutal in this. And for Pokemon, that's a surprise, and I'm really excited to check it out. I don't have much to say about this. I haven't finished it or started it yet because I'm still reading Death Note. But once I finish that, it'll probably either be this or one of the other ones I picked up. Next up, I picked up Hunter x Hunter Volume 1. I love Hunter x Hunter. I watched the 2011 anime, I think is what it was, and fell in love. And then I started watching Totally Not Mark's reviews on the manga and both the animes. And I decided, you know what? I really want to read some Hunter x Hunter. So, yeah, I picked up Hunter x Hunter. I've read the first chapter, and then the Death Note All-in-One edition came in, and I figured, I've got that whole series. I don't know how long it's going to be before I get the next volume of Hunter x Hunter. So I'll just read that, and I'll probably pick this one up probably after I finish Death Note. It'll probably be this and then Pokemon. Next up is Kirby Mania. So this was a weird purchase. I didn't realize that this was a thing. But apparently in Japan, they had a Kirby manga where, like, it was in like a magazine or something is what I think I read. And they decided to compile it all. And this came out in like 2017 or 18 over in Japan. Over here, it just got translated, and it came out like 2 months ago now. And we're getting a second volume later on that'll have the rest of them in it. But these are very like slice of life, very goofy, just like one-off stories in manga form, of course, about Kirby. What's interesting, though, with this book is that in the games, Kirby is very much a force for good, and Kirby has a positive impact on the denizens of Dreamland's lives. Kirby and Kirby Manga Mania is a force of chaos and destruction, and I live for it. The first story in here is about King Dedede having a completely innocent picnic, and Kirby showing up and just ruining everything, and it's so great. I cannot recommend this enough if you're even a kind of Kirby fan, because it is so good. Finally, the last manga is Devil's a Part-Timer 1. This is the manga version, not the light novel version. I love Devil's a Part-Timer. I'm so hyped for the next season, or the continuation, whatever the continuation is. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I'm so excited for this. Devil is a Part-Timer, if you haven't read, it's like an isekai. There's a demon king, and he comes to our world, and where he didn't have feelings in his world, he has feelings in our world. So he's a really nice guy, just really looking out for everybody. And there are people hunting him because he's the demon king. And it's so good. He gets a job at McDonald's. I don't want to say anymore because I don't want to spoil it, but Devil's a Part-Timers, freaking fantastic. I read through this all the way, pretty much on vacation, because I was so hyped to have it. And I'm ready to get more. And finally, the last thing for this video, the Mario Brothers Encyclopedia. As I mentioned before, my kids are obsessed with Mario right now. It's not uncommon in my house right now for you to hear little feet running around and going, wahoo, wahoo, to me, Mario. And it's freaking adorable. And I thought, if I'm going to get one of these, like, encyclopedia guides or the big art books you see, you know, trust me, there's some I really want. But if I was going to get one, I was going to get one like this, where they'll enjoy it too. So it's got all kinds of different Mario stuff in it. It's got some original art, I think. A lot of it seems to be scans from the game. It talks about just about every... Ooh, you can't even see that. It talks about just about every Mario game out there. And just has neat little tidbits and interviews and stuff in it. And yeah, Mario Encyclopedia. Really cool. I highly recommend this. This is from Dark Horse. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw here and want to see more pickup videos, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more like Game Probe, like reviewed style videos, there will be a card right here or somewhere on screen. I highly recommend my Grab by the Ghoulies video. I think it was pretty good, but that's just me. Follow me on Twitter if you'd like. My Twitter handle will be around here somewhere. And that does it. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.